Hello and good day to you, all my dear viewers. As always, my name is Rekia Hassan Bako, a staff from Diabetic Herbal Medical Center, a center that boasts of experts in the field of phytotherapy, and our medicines are manufactured from natural organic herbs which have been tested, trusted, approved, and licensed by the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control NAFDAC to be used around the world. And our medicines are very effective and affordable. So today I'm going to talk about a sickness, and which this sickness is called tuberculosis. Yeah, tuberculosis. What is this tuberculosis? Tuberculosis is a disease caused by germs that are spread from person to person through air. Also, tuberculosis usually affect the lungs, but can also affect other parts of the body like the brain, the kidney, or spine. Also, a person with tuberculosis can die if they do not get treatment, to show how serious this sickness is. Next is, what are the types of tuberculosis? Well, we have two types of tuberculosis. We have the latent tuberculosis and the active tuberculosis. The latent tuberculosis is a case whereby you have the germs in your body, but your hormone system keeps them from spreading. Also, you don't have symptoms, that it doesn't show any symptoms, and yet you are not contagious at that step, which is the latent. First of all, there won't be symptoms. At the same time, it is not contagious at that stage. Also, but in as far as the germs is still in your body, it is still alive, and one day it will become active. So you just have to go for treatment as soon as possible. What I'm trying to say here is that at this latent stage, if you have, when maybe you've gone to the hospital and you've gotten tested and they told you that, yeah, you have tuberculosis, but it's at the latent stage, one, you know that it doesn't show symptom. At the same time, at that moment it is not contagious. So there and then you ought to know that it is manageable. Like, it is better for you to get treatment as soon as possible for it not to get to the active stage. That is for the latent. Next is the active tuberculosis. This active tuberculosis, the germs multiplies and makes you sick. Also, it is very contagious. Yes, that's the opposite of latent. In this stage, when it gets to the active stage, it becomes contagious. Next is the signs and symptoms. Like I said earlier on, signs and symptoms of tuberculosis is that, first of all, we have two types of tuberculosis, isn't it? But we have the latent and the active. The latent doesn't show any symptoms, but you should get, when you, like, when a skin or blood test is being carried on you, you get to know if you have latent tuberculosis. That's the only way you get to know. So what I'm going to symptoms I'm going to talk about now is for the active tuberculosis, in as far as it has symptoms. First of all, there is a cough that lasts more than 3 weeks. Whenever you're having, if you're having active tuberculosis, first of all, there is cough that will last more than 3 weeks. Also, you cough off blood. Also, there will be chest pain. There will be night sweat. You feel chills all over your body. There is this fever. You start to feel feverish. Also, there will be loss of appetite, and then there will be loss of weight, and so on. So you need to take note. Next is, what are the causes of this tuberculosis? First and foremost, I have, for instance, if you have a friend, a co-worker, or a family member that has tuberculosis, there is every tendency that you might get contacted. Why? Because this tuberculosis is an airborne disease. So you ought to be very careful. Secondly is that, if you live or you travel to places whereby tuberculosis is common, you have to be very careful, because you might get contacted. Next one is that, if you are part of a group in which tuberculosis is likely to spread, or you work or live in with someone who has this tuberculosis, so you have to be very careful for you not to contact this tuberculosis. Also, if you work or you live in a hospital or nursing home, you have to be careful. If also you are a health worker for patients that are battling with tuberculosis, you have to be very, very cautious. Anything that has to do with hospital, if you work there, you live there, like you live in the nursing home, or you work in the hospital, or in general you are a health worker, you have to be very, very careful. Try as much as possible to use face mask. Yes, you just have to be very, very careful and very, very cautious when you're around patients, for you not to contact this tuberculosis. Next is that if you are a smoker, you are at the risk of contacting this tuberculosis. Smokers are at the risk of having tuberculosis. Next is the prevention. How do you get to prevent, or how does one get to prevent him or herself from contacting this tuberculosis? First of all is that if you are having this latent tuberculosis, you need to take your medication religiously. Take it seriously and religiously. Make sure you take all your medication so that it doesn't become active tuberculosis. Secondly, if you have active tuberculosis, you just have to limit your contact with others. You have to limit your contact with other people. At the same time, you need to cover your mouth when you laugh, when you sneeze, or whenever you cough, so as for you not to, or at the same time, sorry, you need to make use of this surgical mask, so as to prevent you from spreading this tuberculosis. Because whenever you cough, or you laugh, you sneeze, this is an airborne disease. You can spread it to other people. So please, you just have to be very careful in the first week of your treatment. Last but not the least, if you're traveling to a place where this tuberculosis is common, you just avoid spending a lot of time in crowd. Avoid spending lots of time in crowd or with people battling with this illness. So to sum it up, this is where I'm going to stop for today, because I've told you all what tuberculosis is, types of tuberculosis, the causes, symptoms, and how to prevent this tuberculosis. For more information, you can come to our branch, our head office, which is at number C21 Safiya House, Zaria Road, opposite Kano and Dengue, and close to this supermarket called Jifatu. And remember, when you come to Diabetic Herbal Medical Center, we give you medicine with 100% for you to be cured. And as always, for more information, you can call me on this line 070-300-99277 or 080-6367-6662. Thank you all for listening. Till we meet next time.